Welcome to the Harvard Boat to Mexico. I'm Kent Garrett, the author. This is a serialized reading of my historical novel based on real events and told chapter by chapter. The story follows a group of Harvard rowers and a Radcliffe senior in 1968 as they face the turbulence of politics, race, and the Mexico Olympics. Today we present Chapter 6, Troubles at Harvard, the Final Clubs. The door. Amy stood across Massachusetts Avenue, notebook pressed to her chest and camera slung over her shoulder. She stared at the blank porcelain facade. "Power does not announce itself," she wrote. She lifted her camera, framing the building. Later she would develop the shot in her darkroom, but now she scribbled notes. Founded 1791, 30 male undergraduates. Theodore Roosevelt rejected. Franklin Roosevelt never considered. The door said nothing, but it spoke volumes. Emerging. The door opened. Gordy and Alan Crocker stepped out, confident and untouchable. Amy stepped forward. "Care to comment?" she asked, notebook ready. "You're working for the Crimson?" Gordy asked, flustered. "Yes. Why does this building still refuse women, blacks, and anyone without a pedigree?" Crocker laughed. "You'll need a penis and the right name to get in, sweetheart. Neither seems forthcoming." "Well, you might have the right name, but that's all." Amy wrote down his words, every syllable. Later, they would become part of her article. Drafting. That evening, Amy sat in the living room of her Riverside house typing her article. The words flowed, a mixture of anger, observation, and history. It is 1968. Harvard students attempt to seize buildings. Black students demand space. Women press for voices that have long been denied. Protest and agitation ripple through the yard, challenging tradition, privilege, and assumptions. And yet, amid this upheaval, one institution remains untouched: the Porcelain Club. Founded in 1791, it is the oldest and most exclusive of Harvard's final clubs. Membership is 30 undergraduates, all male, overwhelmingly white, almost uniformly wealthy, and often of families whose names echo across Boston and the American history. Theodore Roosevelt was rejected. Franklin Roosevelt never applied. Its very existence relies on silence and invisibility. And for those without the right name, skin color, or sex, there is no entry. Amy paused, reading the lines aloud. She imagined her father nodding, professors murmuring, and Jamal training on the Charles. She typed on. "This is not merely a private lunch club. It is a statement, a fortress of inherited privilege within a university that publicly champions meritocracy. Brother versus sister." Gordy had tried to stop her. "Amy, don't write this. It's just lunch." She had looked at him steadily. "No, Gordy, it is a symbol, and someone has to record it." Walking past the building, one might not notice anything unusual. But in its silence, the porcelain speaks volumes. It reminds Harvard students, alumni, and observers that some doors remain closed no matter the tumult outside. Her typewriter clacked in rhythm with her racing heartbeat. While the yard trembles with activism, students occupying halls, demanding Afro-American studies programs, and pressing for women's equality, the Porcellian remains a constant. Its members dine in privacy, network in secrecy, and inherit influence as naturally as they inherit their names. Reflection. Amy looked out the window at the yard below. She thought of Jamal, of Riverside, of the sit-ins and strikes. She thought of what it meant to fight for a place, for recognition, for justice, while others walked in. In a year defined by courage, exposure, and relentless pursuit of justice, the Porcellian Club embodies restraint, discretion, and denial. It is a bastion of old Harvard, one that resists the world outside, one that preserves a world inside, and one that teaches those within that silence is power. Publication. Next morning, Amy walked past the Porcellian again. The doors remained closed. She smiled slightly. Her article was printed, read, and discussed. Gordy avoided her glance. Crocker raised a mocking glass. The yard may be Harvard's face. The Porcellian is its skull, and no skull opens easily. Amy slipped the page into her notebook. For once she felt she had captured something real. Not just the building, not just men inside, but the enduring, invisible power they represented, and the cracks that she was beginning to reveal. Radcliffe as lens. Amy walked through the yard on her way back to Riverside, notebook clutched tightly. Every step reminded her that Radcliffe was the university's shadow, present but separate, limited, and always negotiating its place alongside Harvard. She scribbled in her notebook, Radcliffe, the polite compromise, Harvard's reflection in a dim mirror. Classrooms echo with lectures, yet they remain provisional. Dining halls and libraries mark the line of inclusion by degree, not desire. We are allowed to learn, but not always to belong. She remembered the morning she had run across the yard, books under one arm, camera under the other, trying to capture life as it existed, not just as Harvard wanted it remembered. Radcliffe had been her training ground, a place where she first learned to see with both empathy and precision. It had taught her to notice the invisible, the way students of color shuffled, the way women deferred, the way inherited wealth shaped even the casual gestures of their male classmates. Moving to Riverside was a gesture grounded in reality, in real life, as opposed to how Radcliffe and Harvard wanted it to be. She reflected on Jamal, a black man she cared about, who was navigating Harvard's corridors, striving to claim space and recognition, while the Porcellian and its ilk assumed entitlement. And she, Radcliffe-born, privileged but still an outsider, was witnessing it all and trying to make the invisible visible. That was Chapter 6 of the Harvard Boat to Mexico. I'm Kent Garrett. Thanks for listening. And music thanks to Zoe Keating. If you're following along on Substack, you can also read the text version of this chapter. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss Chapter 7 coming next Wednesday, when Coach Bannister tells Gordy Thayer that he is in real trouble. See you next time.